Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jake Silver Show. As many of you know, Friday, President Donald Trump met up with President Vladimir Putin out in Alaska to discuss a peace deal or ceasefire with the Ukraine and Russia war. And there's been lots of speculation going on around this meeting, whether or not it is solely based on peace between Russia and Ukraine. I've read and heard lots of things about rare earth minerals. Whether or not President Trump is going to use these minerals as a tactic or maybe a bargaining chip in bringing peace between Russia and Ukraine. Now, this is a complicated subject because it's not going to be discussed mainly in your mainstream news. A lot of it's going to be ousted as bullshit, conspiracies. It's all hearsay at this point, right? But I think there's lots of validity to the concerns of U.S. minerals being used as a bargaining chip between Trump and Putin's discussions in Alaska. One of your reasons being that Zelensky was not formally invited to this meeting. Another reason being that there is no ceasefire or peace deal currently after the meeting is over. I mean, they met for 2.5 hours Friday and they said it was productive. They both seemed happy about it, but currently there's nothing in the works in terms of a ceasefire or peace deal. That's what leaves me to fucking believe that Trump went in with a business mindset. I know he's told the media that he's concerned about saving lives and he's worried about the people. Melania wrote a letter that Trump hand delivered to Putin. But I truly believe that Trump looks at every global affair as another business meeting, very real estate centered. And he looks at the assets that America has in Alaskan soil, and he looks at it as a great opportunity to make money, not only for himself, but for the country in the long run, hopefully. I mean, working out some kind of trade deal or some kind of trade routes with Russia and America, I think it could be beneficial long term. Don't get me wrong. But when you go into a meeting like this, I mean, they haven't met face to face in 3.5 years. When you're going into this meeting and attempting to use rare earth minerals as a bargaining chip in terms of trying to resolve a war, trying to resolve a bloody conflict that's been going on for years between Russia and Ukraine, then that's when it starts to become a problem, because the American people are not going to want our land and our minerals to be sold off to a country like Russia. I mean, it's not going to sit well with the American people. A lot of people are going to resort straight to, oh, you're handing over American soil. This is treason. No, I think what Trump wants to do in the long run is set up an established form of trade-off between Russia utilizing rare earth minerals out of Alaska and setting up potential trade routes in the Arctic and establishing some form of enterprise between Russia and America that just knocks out the European Union entirely as the middleman between these trade talks. Like I said, it could be very beneficial for America, but it's risky. It's a risky thing to do in times like these when you have a war going on that we've knowingly been funding on the Ukrainian side for years now. Kids, families dying on both ends. And like I've said before, Trump needs a W. And I think he's willing to pull out anything that he needs to in order to get that W. I mean, if it looks like he's given over American territory to Russia, so be it. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think economically, there's going to be something unprecedented between the Trump administration and Vladimir Putin in establishing trade routes and utilizing the rare earth minerals that are in Alaska. And both sides are going to benefit from it greatly. And in the end, I think that is his main priority in that meeting. I think it was. And in terms of talks of ending the war in Russia and Ukraine, I mean, Zelensky's got to be there, even though he's as irrelevant as Zelensky is. I mean, he's got to be there. So it says here that Zelensky's to travel to D.C. on Monday to meet with President Trump. President Trump and President Vladimir Putin met in Alaska on Friday in their high-stakes summit seeking a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine war. But while Putin mentioned an agreement in the post-meeting news conference and Trump said great progress was made, there was no mention of a ceasefire. And like I had mentioned earlier, Melania Trump hand-wrote this sob note to Putin about children and getting this war to stop and all the unnecessary deaths. It's very sweet. It's a very sweet gesture for Trump to hand over this letter. Melania's she's staying productive, okay? She's staying productive. I'll take her over Michael any day. If you know, you know. I'll read off some of this letter to you. I think it's most of the letter. First Lady Melania Trump wrote a peace letter to Russian President Vladimir Putin telling him it is time to protect children and future generations around the globe. Fox News Digital exclusively obtained the peace letter the First Lady penned to Putin, which President Trump hand-delivered to the Russian leader before their summit in Alaska. Dear President Putin, the First Lady's letter begins, every child shares the same quiet dreams in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger. As parents, it is our duty to nurture the next generation's hope. The letter continues, as leaders, the responsibility to sustain our children extends beyond the comfort of a few. Undeniably, we must strive to paint a dignity-filled world for all, so that every soul may wake to peace and so that the future itself is perfectly guarded, read the letter. A simple yet profound concept, Mr. Putin, as I am sure you agree, is that each generation's descendants begin their lives with a purity and innocence which stands above geography, government, and ideology. The First Lady continued that in today's world, some children are forced to carry a quiet laughter untouched by the darkness around them, a silent defiance against the forces that can potentially claim their future. Mr. Putin, you can single-handedly restore their melodic laughter. In protecting the innocence of these children, you will do more than serve Russia alone. You will serve humanity itself. Oh, how sweet. I wonder who helped Melania write that letter. I mean, it's beautiful. It's hallmark, if you will. My main question is, where was this letter to Vladimir Putin when he's been pulling up to the White House multiple times this year? He's been doing a bang-up job of claiming the lives of children, mothers, over in Gaza, which they're now shipping people down to South Gaza, wherever the hell that is. I mean, Gaza's not huge. And now we're just forcing the rest of the Palestinians down into South Gaza. I mean, at this point, they are Jewtrifying. You see what I did there? They're Jewtrifying Gaza. Netanyahu claims that he wants to just get rid of Hamas and then hand over authorities to the Arabs, which I doubt. He wants to stake a nice Israel flagpole right in Gaza. I guarantee it. But back onto this letter, Melania, where was this letter that you could have wrote for Trump to hand deliver to Netanyahu? Do the lives of children only matter when it comes to Eastern Europe with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine? I mean, you could have wrote one for Netanyahu. I mean, he's been there several times. He's seen you a handful of times already in 2025. Where's the letter for Netanyahu? That's all I want to know. Frankly, it pisses me off. You can't have a tone that begs and pleads for the safety of children caught in the crossfires of political war and not distribute that same message to someone like Netanyahu, who's been involved in a much worse conflict in terms of civilian deaths, as opposed to, or compared to, the situation in Ukraine. Write him a letter. We'll see if he reads it. We'll see if Netanyahu reads it. We'll see if he gives a fuck. Now, as many of you have seen since last week, there's been a lot going on in the nation's capital. I mean, the federalization of the police in Washington, D.C., including the Metropolitan Police Department, and you got the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, ICE. There's probably state police down there pulling people over. I've seen these videos online. They're going door to door to eradicate the homeless. The last time I checked, the homeless didn't have doors. They're lucky they have a zipper to a tent. I didn't know the homeless people I knew growing up didn't have doors to knock on. You know, I'm not against what Trump's doing in D.C. I think Trump should do this in every major city experiencing these hardships of crime and violence, rape, murder, and just, I guess you can't do it while saying it's to get the homeless out of the city. Of course, they've been doing that, but just tell it like it is. The American people don't like being lied to. And of course, the liberal Democrats, any little information that's left out, anytime you misspeak on what you're doing, they're going to tackle it. They're going to push the narrative out there that Trump's a dictator, tyrannical president. And you have to just tell it like it is. Something's got to change here. It's not just the homelessness. The crime amongst the youth is unbearable. I mean, is this really how you want your kids to live in these major cities? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here. Whether it's LA, DC, Chicago, New York, Miami, Minneapolis, Houston, Dallas, you know where your kids should be when you're raising them, and it's not going to be in a downtown city area. If you have kids, you're trying to get the fuck out of there an hour away in a nice suburb in a $750,000 home, ideally dropping them off at a private charter school every week. It's not the norm nowadays for a middle or upper middle class to just drop their kids off at a public school. They want no parts of it. They know what needs to change. The liberals know what need to change in these inner cities, and they are upset that Trump's taking the measures to do so. I mean, at least you're getting your money's worth with all the tax money that goes to these federal agencies. Let's be real. I mean, half the time they aren't doing jack shit. So now they're finally being put on the front line, straight in the line of harm, or straight in harm's way. This is what I've said it well before Trump got reelected for a second term. This is exactly what needs to happen to these inner cities. I mean, you need to show face. You need to have a presence. I'm not saying the federal agencies need to go around arresting people. You can easily leave that up to the local governments, police. But something's got to change. These YNs are going nuts. They're going off the rails. Black on black crime. It's a real thing. And if you care about the prosperity of the youth in these inner cities, you will not look at what Trump's doing with the federalization of these police departments as a negative thing, because you know something has to change. You know America's been dying for something like this. It's not just a matter of politics. It's really not. That's a whole other conversation in terms of, oh, Trump wants to flip these blue cities to red. No, if the people are there and they have a voice and they want to vote, that's not going to happen. But what needs to happen is our government needs to be able to ensure our safety by utilizing what we have as police forces to actually do police work. I mean, back in the 90s, kids used to go out on the streets and fisticuff. They'd fight it out. Nowadays, that doesn't happen. Nowadays, they're spraying up the whole block. They might not even know what apartment you live in. They're spraying up half of the complex. Ray lives where? Oh, and that he lives due north. No, they don't need a door number. They don't even need the complex. They just need to know the block, the general vicinity, and they're airing that bitch out. So I wholeheartedly support what Trump's doing in Washington, D.C., and he's got 30 days to do what he needs to do. He said that if he needs to go longer, he'll end up declaring national emergency. Do it, dude. It's a fucking national emergency. Whatever bullshit you're hearing about DC, oh, the crime rate's the lowest it's been in the past 30 years. Whatever. If that's true, do this. Put on a decent suit, not even $1,000 suit. Just put on like a decent, go to Kohl's and grab a little bullshit suit. Don't even throw a tie on. I want you to go down to Benning Road. I want you to go into Southeast DC. Now, you don't even got to go into DC. You can go into the surrounding parts of the suburbs in Maryland. Go down there, right? Go to Capitol Heights, Maryland, and just walk down a main strip, maybe like a strip mall. Walk down there like 9 o'clock at night. Tell me how it goes. Of course, not a person of color. Even then, you still might get shot. You still might get jumped. You still might get stabbed. Your car might get broken into. It's absolutely ridiculous how our major cities are. Let's be honest, nobody wants to fucking live there unless you're bringing in $1 million a year, at least, to where you can live in a nicer part of DC, Northwest, DuPont. But the crimes even happen there too. That's the capital of our country, people. This is the heart of our nation. And all these people, all the liberals that want to act like there wasn't a problem in DC, you're fucking full of shit. You're delusional. Whatever derangement syndrome you want to call it against Trump, cool. Something's wrong with you. You're denying what's happening on a day-to-day basis in these major cities. And you're condoning drug use, homelessness, which is perpetuated by the drug use, the violence that comes with it, and just the bullshit from the kids that goes on in these cities. I'm sick of it. We're all sick of it. And now our president's taking the correct measures. Honestly, the only measures that he could take to try and fix things down there. I'm a big fan of it. And I hope it continues, and I hope it goes to every major city in America experiencing the onslaught of violent crime and just not feeling safe being in a major city. It's just, you shouldn't have to be next to the most expensive stores in order to feel safe. You should be able to it should be able to be peaceful within the city limits. Like, something's got to change here. And if they're utilizing the federal powers at B to instill fear into the youth and some of these older guys and gals that are down here causing this crime, so be it. Something's got to give here. The Trump administration's crackdown on violent crime in Washington, D.C. has already netted more than 240 arrests and taken 38 guns off the streets. A White House official told Fox News the show of force has swept up gang members, robbery suspects, and immigration violators. On Friday alone, 52 people were arrested, including 28 illegal immigrants, while 3 guns were seized. Federal teams also cleared 25 homeless encampments, and officials said those removals were carried out without confrontations or arrest. Democrats and local officials pushed back, noting MPD and the U.S. Attorney's Office report violent crime is at a 30-year low, down 35% from 2023 to 2024. FBI data for the same period shows a much smaller decrease of around 9%, highlighting a substantial gap between local and federal statistics. The discrepancy stems from the differences in how crimes are classified and reported to federal databases. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser described the federal action as unsettling and unprecedented, while Democrats have introduced a joint resolution in an effort to put the brakes on the federal takeover of police. The government in D.C. just doesn't like being told what to do. And I'm speaking of the city of D.C. Muriel Bowser is a failure, along with many other Democratic mayors in these major cities in America. It's laughable how Muriel Bowser has handled the constant decay of our nation's capital. And now her power is being subdued by the federal government. And it's not so much that she doesn't like being told what to do. It's an ego thing with these politicians. It's strictly ego. You mean to tell me I'm not good at my job? Absolutely, that's what we're telling you, you fucking idiot. Once people in these inner cities stop being told how to vote and told how to think about the average white male or your average white politician with somewhat conservative values, because even your middle of the road politicians who happen to be white, even if you're black, if you aren't full-blown left, liberal, progressive, socialist, you're immediately thrown to the wolves in terms of your social presence in politics. The propaganda in the inner cities is unreal when it comes to an attempt to sway voters into voting strictly blue. They almost will never change at this point. There needs to be a mass awakening in terms, and I'm not saying just voting Republican is going to solve all your problems. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying do your own research when it comes to who you vote for and start to look at how these mostly Democrat mayors are running these larger cities' governments. And maybe you could start to pinpoint the problems with the corruption in our local governments in these major cities. They're failing you. They're stealing your tax dollars, and every day they show how much they do not give a fuck about you or your kids' safety. And now that it's changing, it's just, oh, Trump's a dictator. He's tyrannical. He's Hitler. No, you don't live in those cities. You've never been there. It's racism. No. Stop breaking the law. Now, honestly, I don't know if you guys have tapped into this, but I enjoy this so much. This was not on my 2025 bingo card that Hunter Biden was going to be our voice of reason. I mean, Hunter Biden's just been on fire. He had that one interview about crack. You got to watch it. He's talking about crack cocaine in detail. And if you could get an Emmy for interviews, whoever interviewed him should have got it, because Hunter Biden went into vivid detail about not only making crack cocaine, but consuming it, the feeling of being high on it. I mean, Hunter Biden has been on a roll. And recently, Hunter Biden delivered a profanity-laced response to Melania Trump's $1 billion notice for defamatory Epstein remarks. Hunter Biden, in another profanity-laced interview, brushed off First Lady Melania Trump's recent $1 billion legal notice over what she claims are false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements. Fuck that. That's not going to happen, Biden said during an interview with Channel 5 podcaster Andrew Callaghan that was published to YouTube Thursday. Callaghan had offered Biden the opportunity to apologize to the First Lady for a previous video interview titled Hunter Biden Returns earlier in August when the former son claimed Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are like so wide and deep, Biden says. I'm fucking fully with fucking Hunter Biden on this one. We all know Melania was introduced to Trump from Epstein on the Lolita Express. Do your research. I said it last episode. I would say every now and again a blind squirrel finds a nut, but I'd think it would be defamatory to call Hunter Biden a blind squirrel. Never underestimate the intellect or physical capabilities, pure raw talent from a crackhead. And Hunter Biden being a crackhead is like a super crackhead. You know he's smart. He comes from a political family. He's been around the ins and outs of the United States government since he was a kid. He's smart. He's an artist. He's a pure soul. Never underestimate the powers of a crackhead. Biden doubled down in his most recent interview and welcomed sitting down at a deposition over the matter. He says, I also think they're bullies, and I think that they think that $1 billion is going to scare me. I have this to say to them. If they want to sit down for a deposition and clarify the nature of the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, if the president, the first lady want to do that, and all of the known associates around them at the time of whatever time they met, I'm more than happy to provide them the platform to be able to do it. You imagine if Hunter Biden is the reason that Trump goes down in the Epstein files. I mean, something his father could have never pulled off. Joe Biden, so far gone. Hunter Biden saves America. Goodness gracious. If Hunter Biden is the reason the Epstein files come out and all of these world leaders get exposed, all of these celebrities and powerful CEOs get ousted because of Hunter Biden, he's got to run for president. I'm voting for him. Hunter Biden 2028. I haven't thought of a running mate, but doesn't matter. Hunter Biden 2028. I'm voting for him. World's greatest crackhead in history. Oh, he's clean now. Happy for him. But shit. Israeli government official arrested in Nevada in internet crimes against children sting. Well. If it isn't another Jew being involved in some child sex crimes. This is what they do. I mean, you know about the tunnels. They're in all the major cities. They've utilized all the underground tunnel systems. They're like little rats. You just can't get rid of them. An Israeli government cybersecurity official was reportedly arrested by Las Vegas police and other authorities in Nevada who were conducting an undercover investigation aimed at online users seeking to sexually prey on children. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38 years old, faces felony charges of luring a child with a computer for a sex act, alongside several other suspects who were apprehended during the 2-week sting operation, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said in a statement published on Friday. He has since been released from custody on a $10,000 bail after an initial court appearance records show and returned to Israel. This is what they do. These Jews have damn near complete immunity regardless of what they do here. They can come over here, rape, murder, fuck children, and then instead of being tried here in America, pixie dust. It floats away, it vanishes. They go back to Israel, they go back to Tel Aviv. They book a room right next to Jeffrey Epstein where he is in Israel. And it's an oasis for these predators. And they're not just all sexual predators or child predators, they're predators of good. This is a spiritual war of good versus evil. They are perpetuating the will of the devil. And I'll stand by that 100%. These Zionist Jews are here to destroy modern civilization in America. You have someone who worked for the Israeli government in cybersecurity using the internet to track down and lure a child into sexual acts. I'm pretty sure he was amazing with the internet, amazing with computers, and he used his powers on American soil to lure in a child to have sex with him. And what happens? $10,000 bail. Straight back to Israel like nothing happened. It's not the first time it happened, and he's not the only one doing it. He just happened to get caught. The Israeli news outlet Ynet reported on Wednesday that the U.S. had detained an employee of the Israel National Cyber Directorate for interrogation while he was representing his country at a professional conference. That employee then returned to his hotel and flew back to Israel 2 days later. Like nothing happened. Just a clean getaway. Israeli officials downplayed the incident, saying it carried no political implications and was resolved quickly. Ynet reported without naming Alexandrovich or mentioning he had been arrested in connection with a felony charge leveled against him by Nevada law enforcement officials. The reasons for the questioning remain unclear, but may relate to the employee's conduct. Yeah, we don't know why he got arrested. We don't know why these questions are coming about, but he's a great guy. Netanyahu denies this even happened. But hey, conservative Christians, Israel's the good guy, our greatest ally in the Middle East. We must protect Israel. Meanwhile, their government officials come over here and try to fuck your kids. People are going to call me a Nazi or whatever. They got to go. Israel must go. We got to cut ties with them. We got to stop dishing out our taxpayer money to them. We got to get them out of our banks. We got to get them out of our media. We got to get the Israeli lobby out of the American government. Is it going to happen with the Trump administration? No. But we can watch and learn. You just got to keep your eyes open. And then you can move forward after this administration and demand new and better things from your government officials. You'll know what you need to prosper as Americans. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just giving you a great way to move forward in terms of your outlook on life as an American citizen. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week.